Welcome back into Breaking the Huddle. I'm Joel Klatt, joined now by the head coach of the UCLA Bruins, Chip Kelly, after a huge win last weekend against LSU. Coach, what's going on, man? How are you?
We're good. We wish we were playing this week, but because of the schedule and playing a week 0 game against Hawaii, we're off in week 2 here, and then we're getting ready to play a really good Fresno State team in week 3.
Well, and that Fresno team, obviously gave Oregon all they could handle last week. So, yes, you're going to have your hands full. There's no doubt. But let's look back just a moment, and I'm sure you were proud of what your guys were able to do against LSU. I think it caught the college football world maybe by surprise. Did it catch you by surprise how physical and how good your team played?
No, and that's the one thing with our players is that everybody when you upset somebody, as they say, even though I think it was a 2-point spread, that you shocked the world, but we didn't shock ourselves. This team has prepared really, really well since last January. It's a mature group. Obviously one of the byproducts of COVID is we had a lot of returning players that could return.
Yep.
So it's an older veteran team. We got a lot of 4th-year kids and 5th-year kids that have played a lot of football. They know what it takes, and they are 100% into that part of it. They really like the prep part of it. So we've always believed that you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to your level of training, and this group has trained at a really high level.
So this has been, you've talked about it a little bit, it's been a slow build, but I don't think people realize where you had to go when you first got there as far as numbers go. I think at one point, Coach, if I'm not mistaken, you only had like 56 scholarship players, something right around there.
Yeah, when we played SC in my first year, we had 57 scholarship players. And then with the NCAA rules, they changed the transfer rule and some of those other things where you could lose quicker, but you couldn't add more than 25 in a year. So I think our second year we were at like 71 or 72. And then the next year we were at like 76. And this is the first year we've actually been at the maximum number of scholarships. So we had 115 kids out for spring ball, Joel. And my first year, I think we were in the mid-60s for spring ball. So it's just our depth is better. And that allows you so many different things. It allows you to practice better. You're not always having to go good on good. You can give looks. You're developing everybody in the program. So really the depth, what's changed since year 1 to year 4 is the depth in the program.
And it's allowed you to be more physical, right? I mean, let's be honest now. When you turn that game on, when I turned that game film on, Coach, it was obvious to me who the more physical team was at the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball, and that was the UCLA Bruins. And that development for you guys and what you were able to do on the ground, both stopping the run, held them under 50 yards rushing. You guys ran the ball for over 200 yards. In fact, the discrepancy was 161 yards. You guys outrushed the LSU Tigers. That's all about development and physicality at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be tough and physical to play this game, and it's at some point in time you're going to have to put your cleats in the ground and you got to be able to block, you got to be able to get off blocks, and you got to be able to tackle. And it's still a fundamental football game, and we always preach that, and we've been preaching fundamentals since we got here. But you're seeing kids that are in their 4th year playing up front, and so I've had 4 years of fundamental training, 4 years of growth in our strength and conditioning program, 4 years in our nutrition program. So it's a byproduct of all of it. But the game of football is still a game of ground acquisition, and you got to be physical to do that.
I love that. Ground acquisition. I'm going to steal that. I don't know if I'm going to give you credit or not, but I'm definitely going to steal it. Hey, okay. The transfer portal has affected everybody, right? Negatively and positively. Everybody's losing some players here and there. Everybody's gaining players, and we're seeing that throughout college football. I saw Niles Pickney, the defensive tackle from Clemson. He goes to Minnesota. He was there in my first game there. Ches Malusi goes from Clemson to Wisconsin. He was big for Wisconsin Saturday. You guys dipped into the portal and got a guy who you could argue came home to be closer to home. But Zach Charbonnet has been unbelievable through 2 weeks of the season. He's averaging over 10 yards a carry. He's got 4 touchdowns. Can you tell me, when you first realized, hey, we got something special here, number one, and two, What's the difference between a transfer guy and his level of purpose versus even just a first-year freshman?
That's a great question and a great point. Right in the beginning of the spring, we recruited him coming out of high school, and really liked him. But he had some Midwest ties and wanted to go to Michigan, and then was really successful. I mean, he set the Michigan freshman scoring record. He had 11 touchdowns as a freshman out there. So when his name was in the portal and we had heard he may want to come back home, we were really excited. He's a great kid. He's a really good student. He was in the Ross School of Business at Michigan. He kind of checked all the boxes. And then when we got him there and started going through spring practice, really on that first day, and I've said this before, I think the unique thing with Zach is he's obviously 6'1", he's 220, he's physical, he can run, all those other things, but I didn't know how good a vision he had. And when you saw the first kind of couple of practices in the spring where, he'd hit something and then slide and then bounce outside and then gone, you're like, whoa, like he's got, that innate talent that all the great running backs have. In high school, when you evaluate the film, you never get to see the end zone copy, Joel. So you're not sure, he hits a hole and comes out the other side, but you're not sure what he saw. When you started to see it from that perspective, from behind, I thought we had a pretty special player.
Well, and he's proven that on the field. Listen, enjoy the off week. I know that you've got work to do, nose to the grindstone. Can't wait to see you guys against Fresno State. I really appreciate your time, man. Congratulations on a big win, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, Joel. Look forward to getting you for a game out here.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Can't wait to get back to the Rose Bowl. Have a good one, bud. We'll see you. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.